Hey everyone, GTSH Productions here. Today is a bit of a tutorial video, which is something I don't often do. Actually, I think this is my first one. So, this is a set that's going to be used in episode 5, as you can see here. Episode 5 will already have been released when I make this anyway. So, you might notice, yeah, it's good, but it's not great. And the reason is because, like, you have the basic setup, you have the track, you have the engines you're going to use, you have the platform, and I also did something pretty nice here with the station. I did something different. So, it's a good start, but it needs more. So, in this video, we're going to discuss how to make your sets more detailed and intricate and more interesting, instead of just being like a blank station with a track and engines. Because yeah, the most important thing of making Thomas videos is in fact the story, and what's a good set without a good story to go along with it. So, and while I do believe that is true, having a good set also helps gain a following. So let's do this. First thing we're going to do is, this is a pretty nice set. I'm trying to recreate this set from season 1. This station looks nothing like the station from season 1. I think it's Dryall, which is on Thomas's branch line. I don't know why the Express is on Thomas's branch line, but that's besides the point. This is like a one station thing, and I could add another line, or I could also add like a little siding, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to add another siding. Or I'm going to add a siding. So now I have a good portion of track. I have a couple switches, and I have a lot of straight pieces. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extend this track so that it's more interesting. So first off, I'm going to move James and Edward here so that I can access this other area. I'm going to remove this piece of straight track and add that one there. Hopefully my face isn't being shown. So you've reached the end of the track, and what do you need when it's not just going to continue on? You need buffers. These things are an absolute godsend, along with these small pieces of track over here. The reason that you need these things so much is because, especially on sets, if you can clearly see that the buffers are at the end of the track, you'll know that it looks like a realistic siding. So I have 5 of these. I don't know where the other one I think it's in a bucket somewhere. And this one's broken. I do recommend you have at least 4 of these, because if you're building sets with sidings, you're going to need them. Especially with sidings like the Knapford sidings, and like sidings of big stations like Tidmouth, Vickerstown, and Knapford. You're definitely going to need a lot of buffers to put at the end of your sidings. So to add more background stuff, a lot of people tend to use moss and trees, and I'm all for that. So, however, I don't just like to grab moss and just throw it on the mat. You have to carefully spread it and make it look nice so that you can see that it doesn't just look like a big blob of moss. I'm probably going to do like a nice loop around this station so that it looks nice. So I would have showed me putting all this together, but I didn't want to risk you seeing my face or just have my camera like this the entire time. So here's what it looks like. What I tend to do is I either put trees like in front of the bushes, like within the bushes, or behind the bushes. So it kind of looks like the trees are all over the place with the moss. So you might have noticed I did leave this place blank, and that's because I'm adding one more thing to spice this set up. So I decided to add some road, and it makes sense considering this is where Thomas and Bertie had their race. So you have the engine here, and Thomas You get the engine here, Thomas, and then Birdie back there. So yeah, that's them racing, and so I just have to add one more thing. The station is looking a bit empty. A lot of people, including myself, use LEGO minifigures in their series. If you don't, that's okay, but I do. And so I've organized all the parts based off of like what they are. So this is all like the male heads, this is all the female heads, and this is all like the basic smile heads. I've got all the legs sorted out by color, and then I've got a bunch of accessories that you can like hold, like shovels and brooms and like handcuffs and stuff like that. Over here we have hair for male and female, and then hats and shirts based off of like identity. Like these are business suits, these are worker suits, basic average suits, unique shirts, and police officers and special jobs, criminals, etc., etc. These are all the female shirts. So what I tend to do is I would just take a head, take a torso, take a hat, for this workman in particular, and take some pants and just attach them to each other and make a minifigure. And I just do that about a dozen times for each set, and it's tedious, but it's well worth it because your set now is decorated. Another thing I tend to do is a lot of my main characters, like the Fat Controller, you'll find out who this person is later, and Patrick Boomer over here. I do use like the main characters, and I just keep them assembled, and oftentimes I'll put them in a little Lego storage container, but I haven't done that in a while since I've been filming with them a lot. So yeah, lately, like when I went to the beach, I just stuck them in there, took them out whenever I needed to build a minifigure. So that's what I did. So now that I've got all these minifigures assembled, it's time to put them on the set. So I didn't put these 5 people on the platform because they're going to be in James and Edward's coaches. These people are all on the platform. These 3 people are just like shopping, and these people are just waiting for the train to arrive. And I didn't put these workmen up yet because we need some rolling stock and some other supplies for them to be working with. Now this is, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of the set. What you see before you is what many people like to call set dressings. Pieces of, like, these are things that go on set that don't really add much. They're not people or engines or track. They're just like background things to make the set more lively. And I think this is really important because it's really what turns your set from really good to fantastic. And you don't want to just lay them out right here. You want to lay them out throughout the entire set. Put some stuff there, and over here, and over on this little space here, and back there. You really want to lay it out so it's like not all crammed, but also not like in that corner and then that corner. So that's what I'm going to do now, and that's what I'm going to do with these workmen. And this is the result. This is what really makes the set really lively. There's a lot going on that adds nothing to the story, but makes it look like a realistic railway, because a railway isn't just the engines, it's the people. I might put some ballast in there, like marshalling ballast and sorting through tools and driving other road vehicles around, and loading the trucks, which I have over here. It's all of that is done by the people, and they don't just drive the engines and manage the stations. They do all that. So I think it's really important that that is shown in your sets, and that's what I like to do. It also makes it look really detailed and really interesting. So I just turned this set from a bland but decent set with just one track, a station, a platform, 2 engines, and 2 coaches, into a station with a little yard, some rolling stock, a road in the background, trees and bushes, workmen, passengers, and all of this other set dressing stuff, including road vehicles and crates and logs and barrels and buckets, to make the set more detailed, more interesting, and more realistic. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.